It is a beautiful day. A little chilly here in Ontario. -2 Celsius, so around what, 30, 29, 30 Fahrenheit, something like that. Woke up early again this morning. Addie Bear had dance today, so I wanted to go see her perform. And obviously coming off a pretty good day yesterday. Maybe that had something to do with an early rise also. I thought that this would be a short video week. I did your 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds yesterday. All I wanted to do was the opening today. And, quite frankly, I thought, hey, we talk about the horses that 3 for 3 on whatever day, Thursday, I guess it was, Wednesday. Wednesday it was, talk about a few of the other performers, talk about Saturday night, obviously, pretty good night overall, where the horses are going, and that would be it for the week. And I got thinking about it, we haven't really talked about where the 3-year-olds are staked and when their stakes start, and when, we've talked roughly about when they're going to be ready. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what their staking looks like, when their first stake is, who's staked kind of heavy, and who's kind of staked normal, I guess. But what's normal? I guess regional and a few other little things. A horse like Landing Strip, there wasn't a ton for him. When you're a New Jersey bred, it just seems like you're either a real good horse or, hey, you're a horse. And that's it. And I think we staked him to the Reynolds, I believe, and I think it was the Reynolds. And the New Jersey Sires, there just wasn't a ton there for him, given what we're looking at. Now, I looked at Horn Players after her win the other day. Maybe I did think she was a little bit light, but again, just because you're eligible doesn't mean they're writing you the check. They're not going to look down and let's say, well, clearly Horn Player, we're just going to give her the win and everybody else race. It doesn't work that way. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about our aged horses. Where are they going? When are their stake races? Where are they supposed to be? Now, aside from the racing yesterday, the most interesting thing that happened was, by chance, I was looking at a breeding to Green Shoe. And I knew that the breedings were, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Steve paid $30 for his when he bred his mare to him 2 years ago, or 2 years ago, I think. Maybe. No, it was 2 years ago because they have a foal. I looked it up. The catalog breeding for Green Shoe is $25,000. That's what it is. And somebody had a breeding up there. And with 40 minutes left, it was at $16,500. I'm thinking to myself, I love the ones that we have. So I texted a couple of people, hey, any updates on the Green Shoes? I know I like mine, but I'm a little interested. And the two people I talked to, new Europeans that had Green Shoes, they said they loved them. A little tough to break. That's why it was such a discrepancy. I've never seen that before, where Lexington, they were so sought after, and in Harrisburg, they were virtually giving them away. Had I been privy to that information before the sale, I likely would have purchased 10 Green Shoes. It's just the way it is. So anyway, the bidding winds down to 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm thinking, we want to give our mares to Kings County, but Globetrotting did breed once, didn't catch. She's got a second. They bred her again, I believe, on Thursday. I don't want to get into May and June trying to breed the mares, because that ruins their whole cycling, right? You get a May fall, then you got to come back. If you're lucky, you might have an end of April fall. If you're lucky again, catch them on their full heat. At some point, you probably have to not breed them that year. So I don't want to start off on that foot. I want to get all the horses in full right now. Path of Totality, as you said, we had a tiny bit of a little scare. It'll be a financial scare, I'm sure, but a tiny bit of a scare where the foal was a little weak and had to go to the clinic for a week. I think it was actually 10 days. He's fine. Everything is great. Total clean bill of health. And I'm sure it won't be cheap, but at the same token, when the alternative is to not have a foal from Path of Totality or to lose the foal, I pales in comparison. I really doesn't matter to me. And I don't think it matters to my partner. So that mare is going to be coming up to breed again, maybe in the next week or so. Do we go to Kings County? Sure, I'll go to Kings County. But when I saw that breeding, I said, Amy and I were just sitting there. I said, geez, I tried to weigh my options. I made a quick couple of texts. Very favorable response in regards to the breeding. So I pulled the trigger. I only bid once, bid $17,000, and I got the breeding. Now, the way it works is you're responsible for 10% of the total breeding fee. The rest is paid upon live foal, right, within that whatever time frame. Hi, you did a great job today.
Yeah, but you know I did because you left from my dance.
Oh, I left from your dance because you weren't paying attention, you stinko.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. I heard you weren't looking at your teacher.
She made her take her skirt off.
Stop playing with your little skirt at
I
dance.
didn't.
Yeah, you did. I saw you multiple times. Okay, you go back in and be a good girl. We're gonna go to the barn.
I didn't play my score.
We're gonna go to the barn in a little while. So I don't often get to go to dance with Addie. And I was sitting there today, standing there. She could see me through the window, so she kept waving to me the whole time and not paying attention to her teacher. We're gonna put a shadow roll on her, maybe a Murphy blind. So I bid on the breeding once and I got it, $17,000. So in the next 3 days we have to pay $1,700 US for the breeding. But considering his catalog book is $25,000 US, full enclosed, and we got this breeding reduced by $8,000. I think it was a hell of a bargain. I don't see the downside in this. I mean, I know it's first crop and we don't know and we're all trying to judge, but that's probably part and parcel why we got the breeding for $17,000. If you guys remember all the way back to Walner's first crop, I had a breeding to Walner. Remember? We had that mare, Nancy Allison. Ooh, Nancy Allison. And we were going to breed her. Donato Hanover, everybody said there was a great cross with Walner. And I bought the gimmick breeding. So it was only good for, I think it must have been, I bought it at Lexington, so it must have been the year before the pandemic. Right? I think? Yeah, I think it was. I bought it in Lexington. I think I paid $19,000 or $20,000 for it. You couldn't buy that now for $40,000 or $50,000 probably. So that the same Walner breeding sold for $75,000 this year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And there's none to be found. So I thought the green shoe breeding at 17 was I think it fell under don't look a gift horse in the mouth type situation. For me, it wasn't something that needed a ton of research. The research I needed to only verify what I already thought about our green shoes. I liked them very much. Only took 5-10 minutes to verify, and then or at least, gather a little more information, and then it wasn't hard to pull the trigger. I don't know how high I would have went, but it doesn't matter. I only had to go to 17. So I was really lucky and really, really happy to do that, especially as our stake payment season is winding down. For many of you, you get a look at the staking. Not much change from March, from March into April. Only a few little things. I think the overall bill was somewhere around 125,000 US, but 40 of that was taken up by the next generation. Now, as I told Jim from Joanne Staking, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I know that we have one client that is eager to lend us the money, obviously because it's good for them, and I love doing business with our clients. I mean, you guys put a lot of money into our operation. If we can give a little back, then that's fantastic. Last year, what we had done was, I think it might have been the same person actually. We didn't end up using the pacing side. We didn't have any pacers last year. We certainly do this year. I think we ended up borrowing the money for the starting fee and giving them 10% on it, which is fair. So this year it would be 40. We would give back 44, and our payment into the next generation would be 11, not 10, because of the money. And this gives us an opportunity, though, to pick the right horse for the job. Right now, I think right now, the front runners easily on the Pacers is Cowboy by the Sea and Venice Blue Chip. Goes without saying, I believe. On the trotting side, not so easy. Let me see if I can think right off the top of my head. We have Oh Snap You, Purple People Eater, and Sedona Hill right now. And there's horses that could jump up, but those are the three. I think maybe I'm missing somebody. I think those are the three right now on the trotting filly side. Colts are the deepest division of all of them, where you have competition. We have Irresistible Sun, Gypsy Hill. I think Sweeney will probably continue to gain on those guys a little bit as they get to qualifying time. Then you have a horse like No Chance in Hill, who could jump up at any time. So again, I think this allows us just a time frame to gauge and say, well, who do we have? I guess when it comes to the overall bill, I don't think we need any extra dollars put in for the Pacers. We just need the 10, because it's going to be Cowboy by the Sea. It's going to be Venice Blue Chip unless something happens to them between now and the first part of July. So instead of saying we need 44, we'll probably only need 42, I guess, back to the person. And I like that for two reasons. As I said, it gives us the time, and it allows us to give back also to clients that have put so much money into the stable.ca also. So I think that makes the most sense. Once we get through April, another minor billing. It was just continuation of the Grand Circuit stuff. So it'll drop considerably also next year, and then we're through it. And every year, March is, I get no nails left. Just chewing my nails through March, but we got through it. We got through April, and we'll get through May. So a great start to 2023. I guess, truthfully speaking, on the track with our racehorses. Not completely the start we wanted. And again, we're going to have to reassess the information that we have. And how do we fix that for 2023 into 2024? And we'll continue to tweak things and change things along the way. As you see, a lot of horses are being moved out. I know a lot of people are hesitant to buy into that model, so to speak, and that's just because of passion for the game and passion for horses, and I don't blame you. But when it comes to the overall horses, whether it be HP Maestro, who we moved, or High Enterprise, who we're about to move, or a number of other horses who are on the block, so to speak, if they're not going to be impactful for the stable, then I guess I don't want to start straying down the path of the petting zoo, right, where we just keep them forever and they're pretty horses and we come in. I get that, there are people, and when we first started the stable, yes, coming in and feeding your horses carrots is most definitely a draw, and it should be a draw. We want to be about having people come to the barn and celebrate their horses and give them carrots, but at the same token, I'm the steward of the stable, and I have to look out for everybody's best interest. And when it comes to horses that just aren't going to be able to perform, I'm not angry. I'm a little disappointed in a horse like High Enterprise, because I believe there is a decent horse in there, but other horses that we've moved just aren't good enough. It's not their fault. So I don't want to go down that path of the, this is why we do it, and this is why we have to do it, and this is what you guys know by now, right? We're trying to do what's best for everybody. So it was pumped that we got the green shoe breeding. It is kind of penciled in, not in ink yet, but penciled in for Path of Totality next week. That's the plan for that breeding. Now, if Globetrotting doesn't catch the Kings County again, I have to ask myself. We already got his semen report, so we know he has mobility. We know he's strong semen. So I don't know, but I don't want to risk, keep doubling down. We'll give him 2 or 3 chances, and then after that, we have to look elsewhere. If I was to find a Walner breeding for Globetrotting, I don't think I would turn away from it. I know they're expensive, but again, these are the horses. We're in this business. This may not be your first and foremost business watching this video, but it is mine. And I want to make sure that we are we have the best chances moving forward that we can possibly have. So Globetrotting has been bred a second time to Kings County. We'll see how that plays out. Path of Totality, everything went well with the little baby Path and her herself. The one thing both the clinic and Jacob said was how, and again, I don't know much about the breeding side, but what kind of a professional the mom was. She wasn't jostled. She wasn't acting up. She wasn't overly stressed out. She was just taking it all in. She's always been a pretty cool customer that way, so it's not shocking to me. But I would like to have her enfold either Kings County or a green shoe would definitely do also. So there's that. Now, I did want to talk about some babies this week. I'm going to do that in a list here in a minute. Now, every week I give you a top 10 list. The same horses are on it, give or take. You might see a horse jump on it or drop off it. But I want to give you 10 horses that I think are on the move. 10 horses that I think are coming forward. 10 horses that over the last 60 days, 30 days, I've seen progression. And as we get into April, I really see them pushing forward in a much, much more advanced way. But what I want to see, I'm seeing in these 10 horses. And I think that's important because there's many of you out there that are my partners on these 10 horses. You're like, oh, I never hear about Chirahola other than, oh, she's coming. Big, lanky filly, she's coming. I've heard that before. But what does it mean? It's different for every horse. And I want to explain where I sit on all 10 of these horses and why I put them on this list. I'm going to do that. That's a separate list because I want to focus on those 10 horses today. So we're going to do that in another list in a little bit. I think it is important to talk about the week we had, obviously, as we always do. And I guess I should have led with the most important news, actually, which is our open houses. We're getting very, very close to locking the dates in. It looks like it's going to be May the 13th at Northfield Park and May the 14th at Mohawk. Now, I don't know if we got explicit confirmation from Mohawk yet. I think we have, but I'm not positive. What I've done is, because we only have 20, and we are going to bring a couple of horses over here. We had somebody give us their 2 weeks notice. They wanted to go work with thoroughbreds. Why? They wanted to go work with thoroughbreds, so they gave us their notice. And Ben, really, really nice guy, and wish him all the luck. But it does. One of our other caretakers is taking a week off to go be with their family. So it leaves us kind of tight. Now, I did tell everybody that Red Overbach is going to the Poconos next week. He's going to race in a claiming series there. Also, we're going to turn out International Spy. Now, given the fact that his legs have to grow up and he has to do some work, I'm more leaning towards sending him to Jacob Schaefer's place. They have lots of hills there, which may sound silly to you, but it is a big deal. Having him going up and down those hills all day will definitely help his rehab, I believe. So, and growth and maturity. So I think what we'll do is we'll send Red Overbach and International Spy to Pennsylvania, or two different places. Now, Red Overbach is heading to Megan Scran's place. International Spy will be heading to somewhere up near the Meadows where Jacob and Wayne and his family are. So those horses will head out, and as they head out, that has 2 empty stalls for us and an overload of work in Ohio, especially since Patrick the Piranha is still there. Atlas Hanover is coming back in next Friday or Saturday. So now we got to get some horses out of there. I think what we'll do is we'll take Widespread Panic, who would benefit from a bigger track, both here in First Line and at Mohawk, especially since he's staked in Hoosier, where it's a 7/8, and Mounds for All also. 2 Indiana breds, I think, are going to be coming to Ontario. They'll fill up those stalls of the horses leaving. So that is good. Just simple math. Now, so the open houses will be on the 13th, 14th, I believe. Now, that isn't locked in stone, but I believe that is when our open houses are going to be. So a lot of people asking because they want to make plans to come to Ontario from other places. Well, if you want to, you can come to Ontario. You can drive over to Northfield. It's about, from Mohawk to Northfield Park is a little over 4 hours by car. It should be a lot of fun there on that Saturday morning, and then we're going to come right back for the open house here Sunday at Mohawk. And that is the plan for the open houses tentatively right now. Now, what a week we had. Locatelli, yeah, I said it last night in the video, I'd rather be lucky than good. And yes, it looked like HB Mama B was gone, but there was still well over a quarter of a mile of racing left. So who knows what would have happened, but it definitely looked like she had things in her hands, so to speak. And blew up on the front end. That gave Locatelli a clear shot to the winner's circle, and he took full advantage of that. Very, very happy with what I saw from him last night. In regards to the other horses last night, I thought Haunted House raced tremendous. I drove him. I also thought Gandalf the Black raced good, maybe just a little bit better than adequate. We're going to take him and Resolute Bay to the veterinarian Monday. Gandalf on the left line. He did that last year, finished up. I want to know why. I don't just want to. Well, that's what he did last year. I'm sorry, that's not going to fly here. I need to know what's going on with Gandalf. So I spoke to Dominic briefly after the race, and he had said, yeah, I was just going to call you about that. And since Harry had asked me specifically to get an appointment for Resolute Bay, I figured maybe we could get 2, and it's exactly what we did. So they're going to be going there. And JK Victory, a lot to talk about with this guy. I guess baby steps. You know, you guys, I keep saying we have the greatest clients, and you are. You know, all the messages I got from our clients that are partners of mine on JK Victory last night were, geez, he was a little bit better. Not near what we bought him to be. Not even in the same universe, but definitely better than he's been. Yes, there's progression there. I still think James is super tentative with this horse. He said he was hitting his knee last night. I could tell why. He already said why. Track was deep, and then when I went on the track with Haunted House, yeah, it was deep. Both those horses wear flip-flops, and you could feel them spinning their wheels. They're not bad in a hole. Like even Haunted House, I thought it was a winner around the last turn, but when you let them out and you ask them to advance up into top gear, they start to slip a little bit. And at that point, you can see problems. And for horses that have a proclivity to maybe touching a knee, getting into a knee, it's even more, as I said last night, accentuated by the track for horses that might come up and just tap that knee they spin off it and they can really, really get into their knee. And James said that JK Victory was into his knee quite a bit last night. That's not new. If you go back and watch his races from Indiana, he wore knee tape underneath. His knee boot. So that's not shocking. I think that's just a matter of doing one of two or both things. Maybe putting those one arm go straight on him if the track's a little loose. And we can also add a little grab to the outside of the shoe also. So we'll see what Harry has up his sleeve. But yes, I will join the group of very, very optimistic people and say, yes, baby steps. Not near what we bought him to do. But you know what? The horse that he was is still the horse that he is. We just have to shake the rust off him, and he was definitely better last night. So you're right, he was. Yo Mister was tremendous this week. This is another horse that we paid pretty good money for. Looked very, very good for Brett Miller as he heads into that series that was completely delayed. No, that was the first leg of the series that was delayed. So it looks like he's punched his ticket into the final for sure, and the second leg will be coming up this week, I believe. Horn Player, again, we talked about her last week. She just raced so good in her first start. Didn't get to race last week because the track was closed. But man, coming into her next start, really, really enthusiastic about where she looks like she's headed. And it does look like she will be headed to the New Jersey Sires on May 13th. And where I'm going to be training Tactical Mounds this week. She'll qualify the week after. She'll get one start somewhere. And then she, too, is slated to head to the New Jersey Sire Stakes. Now, she has to prove it. I think Horn Player's done enough to at least make you believe she belongs in New Jersey. She can race in that B division. That A division's just so salty. She can race in the B division, so can Tactical Mounds. Let's see how she is. I've been very, very impressed with Tactical Mounds, even the other day when she went. Very happy with her. I'll probably train her in 2-4, maybe 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, something like that on... I said Wednesday to everybody, but I'm going to have to stay a little bit later on Thursday, and we're going to have to get up very early on Thursday because it looks like the rain is coming all day Wednesday. It's supposed to be nice on Thursday. Fine, you win. We will race, I guess, in the rain. Oh, my God. Race in the rain on Wednesday, and then we're going to have to get up early on Thursday because the qualifiers are at 11. We got to warm up the horses that we've chosen to qualify. We got to warm up horses we schooled. We got to train horses that we wanted to train. We got to go with all the babies. I don't even know if that's even remotely possible. We'd have to start at 7 o'clock at the latest on Thursday. So I don't know. I'll talk to Jason about it. And who knows? The weather may change between now and then. Stonebridge Acadie, Columbus. We went undefeated on Wednesday. We had Yo Mister, who looked great. We had Stonebridge Acadie, who looked great, and we had Columbus, who looked great again. They're back in to go Wednesday. Very, very happy with the way they're racing. Thursday, we had More Than You Know, who was a winner also. That gave us 4 in a row as we headed forward, but that wasn't. We weren't long being kneecapped after that. And as I said, Haunted House, JK Victory. Everybody raced good yesterday. The only blemish was She's a Sassy Beach, and I think she probably tied up. And as I said to Megan, relax. There's lots of avenues forward for She's a Sassy Beach. Just put her in where she's going to or supposed to win. That's it. Now we're going to get to the aged horses. I'm going to run through real quick where they're going. The horses on the list of stakes I have. JK Victory is staked to a number of things. Indiana, and then the Graduate first leg here. He's going to have to do a lot more before June, before we start talking Graduate and, Breeders' Crown and whatnot. But again, lots of time, and we are moving forward with him. So let's just continue that forward progression. Looks like Money's a bit of an interesting prospect. Obviously, we have him slated for the Graduate, the Hambo Maturity, the Maple Leaf Trot, the Caesars, Dayton, and I believe the Breeders' Crown after that. But he also has Oak Grove and Corbin. So this gave us an opportunity to say, okay, if we don't want to go to the Graduate, right, we can go to... Now, Oak Grove starts way before. 4 legs of 50 and a final for 150. Truthfully, that is a much softer spot for him than for 3 legs or 4 legs of the Graduate and a final of 250 to race against the best 4-year-olds in the world, well, North America. So I don't know. We haven't slated for the Graduate, so as of right now, we're probably gonna stay the course on that. But it is something worth thinking about as we get into the latter stages of April. Renegade Gypsy, Graduate, Maple Leaf Trot, same for Resolute Bay. The Graduate, that's the Ontario Graduate coming up April the 14th, not the graduate. So we have the Ontario Graduate, April 14th, Maple Leaf Trot. Same for Resolute Bay. Locatelli has the Maple Leaf Trot. His next stake race, his next added money event is until August. It's the Maple Leaf Trot, the Caesars. No, I wasn't paying him into the Graduate and running around with all those horses. I know we said, well, it looks like money's going to do it, but this isn't a monkey see, monkey do type situation. Looks like money is going to have to trot in 50-51 to be a Graduate type horse. If he comes out and he looks so throughout the month of April into May, even the early stages of May, we can catch the last 2 legs or 3 legs of the Oak Grove Stakes and race for 150 in the final. I would think it would be quite a bit watered down in Oak Grove from the Graduate, but there's lots of people out there saying exactly what I just said to you, to their clients also. So no cakewalks wherever you go with these horses, that's for sure. And Kings County, same as Locatelli, Maple Leaf Caesars, Dayton Derby, and then the Breeders' Crown. A lot of people said, why isn't White Tiger staked? Because he's not a Breeders' Crown horse. He's a nice horse, a very nice open horse. But I've had this conversation for 2 or 3 years now with Joe, and Joe loves the horse, and he's almost there, but he's not quite. And to ask him to be that type of horse would be unfair to him. Just let him. He's progressed from 3 till today. Just let him be a good horse. There's lots of classes in Ontario for him to bounce up and down. And if it looks like he was going to be a Breeders' Crown horse, and he'll have lots of money made by the time the end of the year comes. So I'm certainly not going to feel bad because we didn't stake White Tiger to a bunch of stakes. You know where he staked? Right there at Mohawk. That's where he staked. The backup class in the Open for the entire year. That's what we hope White Tiger's going to do. Now, the 3-year-olds, a little trickier with the 3-year-olds. Times and dates and where they're going to go. Quite a bit different, too. Austral Hanover, his first stake race actually is May 22nd in the PA All-Stars, that's the salty end pool. That's tough for Austral Hanover. So he's going to have to show a lot. Like, that's where Crantini is going. That is where Carter Michael Dio is going. Spitfire Overseas, that's where they're slated to go May 22nd. Actually, they have, we'll talk about them in a minute, but their first stake is the Bunker Hill. The Battle of Bunker Hill, first year for that stake race. It's the week before the PA All-Stars. Austral Hanover did not pay into that. So Austral Hanover, theoretically May 22nd, but shortly thereafter, the Stallion Series starts. So if we have him going in good classes here, or by here I mean Northfield or the Meadows, if we by chance find classes he can do in well, there's no need to go to the PA All-Stars. And if we can't just find a good fit for him, then fine. We'll use that as a tightener down in the Poconos. Brace for Landing. As I said yesterday in the video, I talked to Amy extensively about it also. She loves Brace for Landing. She's a caretaker of him. I said, I don't want to send him to New Jersey. He's not heavy enough. He's still a little immature. His training mile yesterday was fantastic. Very, very, very encouraging training mile from him. But I just think if he lost any weight and got discouraged, he could turn into a so-so horse, when I think he's a real, real good horse. I'm going to forego New Jersey. He's not going to New Jersey Sires. I'm going to leave him right here. His first start is going to be June 9th in the Good Times. As we talk right now, that is where I see Brace for Landing going, June the 9th at the Good Times, right here. I don't want to send him down to the New Jersey Sires to get chewed up down there and lose weight and look like crap when he comes back. He's one of those horses, and I think James said it the other day and he was 100% right. He's just always moving. You guys saw the video if you're on social media of him throwing his feed tubs around and whipping his hay bag around and just being a goof, but that's him all day. That's why he doesn't put weight on. I think he eats more feed than most of the horses in the barn. And we've taken his blood. He doesn't have ulcers to speak of. We still treat him and stuff for it, but that's just him. And I think as he cools down and chills out as the end of his 3-year-old year comes and into his 4-year-old season, I think then you're going to see him put hundreds of pounds on, but just not right now. So it's going to be management of his appetite and his weight moving forward. And I just think going to New Jersey is a mistake with this guy. So as we talk right now, I believe June the 9th will be his first start behind a starting gate in a stake racing event. We're going to school him next week. He's ready to go, but he's not going to New Jersey. Carter Michael Dio, as I said, the Bunker Hill on the 15th, and then right back a week later in the PA All-Stars. That's the plan for him. Crantini, same thing with him. Those horses are staked all throughout North America. Crantini, I think, is our only horse that we have paid into the Hambletonian. And there's a lot of ground to cover between now and the Hambletonian for Crantini, for sure. But that's where he is. That is where he's paid into right now. Anyway, what else do we have here? Crantini, Gandalf the Black Spring Series starts next Friday, so his trip to the vet Monday would be very opportune, I think, for him. So we'll see how the vet is with him. There's nothing serious, just minor maintenance. I hope she finds something on his left front and or left hind, and we can move forward with him. He'll be in next Friday. Landing strip, as I said, no sire stakes for this guy. I don't think he's just not to that level yet, unless he goes out and trains like an absolute creature on, I was going to say Wednesday. I'm hoping Wednesday, but likely Thursday. Then we'll have to see what we do with landing strip. Leaps and bounds. I was so happy to see her blood come back with 3 or 4 markers that were screwed up because she was very ordinary. I was just trying to find the right adjective. Just very ordinary on her in her qualifier, and we found out why. Just a number of things wrong with her blood. Her white count was high. Her red count was low. Her liver count was high. Just a lot of things that were going on. So she's not going to race this week, but we'll probably race her. Her early closer, the Margaret something or other, is April the 13th at the Meadows. Now, Mopar Baby, actually had somebody call looking to buy her, and I don't really want to sell her, to be honest. I think she's a nice filly, and I was very happy how she trained down. Equally disappointed how she qualified. She just seemed out of sorts and angry, to be honest, and that's not like her. So not a whole lot found with her, though. Scoped clean, blood wasn't bad, feet were a little sore. That could do it, I suppose. We're gonna make a little shoeing change with her and see how she feels on Thursday morning at the qualifiers. Nothing But a Dreamer. The SBOA is May the 12th for him. He'll be ready a little bit before them. I suspect Harry will have 2 starts into Nothing But a Dreamer. And as I say his name out loud, I got to get the hobbles out of that room there for him. Nothing But a Dreamer. SBOA May the 12th. Spitfire Overseas. Bunker Hill. You know, makes me a little angry. The Courier and Ives is 6 days after the first Pennsylvania Sire Stake, and 5 days before the next one. So here you have a stake race in Pennsylvania that PA breds can't race in. It's insane. I don't know why people do this. You know, you can't jam everything into this calendar. Either make it right or don't. You're really costing a lot of people going to the Courier and Ives. We're not going to go now because it's in between 2 stake races that they can't make. Very upsetting. Swinging Senorita, her first start will be in the Hackett on May 17th. I noticed a lot of people dumping shares because I said her qualifier was okay. But you need to listen to the whole thing. Sometimes there isn't a message behind the message. Sometimes it's just informative. I told all of you that I thought she was so-so in her qualifier, but I also told everybody that I think we could fix it quite easily, and exactly what I thought it was. I talked to you after the qualifier before we had any results back. Her back was sore. Her stifles were a little sore. Mike is going to do some work on them. Dr. Latessa is going to patch them up. And I guarantee you, come Wednesday, she's going to be a different Swinging Senorita. The one she was last year, by the way. Tactical Mounds, again, looking at that May 13th New Jersey Sire Stakes for her. I think train this week in 2-3. That would be April, the 5th? Qualifier on the 13th. Is it the 5th? Today is what? The 2nd? 3rd? 4th, 5th, 6th. Qualifier on the 6th. Potentially race on the our trainer on the 6th. Qualifier on the 13th. That gives her 1 to 2 starts before she has to race on that May 13th deadline. So that's perfect timing for her. Jason has her dialed in. She looks great. Tailgate Buzz, again, as I said before, May 22nd, the PA All-Stars for him. He's in the same boat as Austral Hanover. Warwi Yuri, City of London. We're not going to rush to get him ready for the spring series. That's tough. Everybody says, well, can you not just qualify? We are not rushing with this horse. We waited 1.5 years, and I don't care, even in the least, about the spring series at Mohawk. And if he's too big for London, so be it. He has the Sire Stakes all year, and he's got what I think, from what I've seen, is a pretty good life ahead for us. Here's a big, strong horse. We did everything right by. We took our time. We got him ready properly. It looks he's ready to go now. Just relax. There's where Warwi Yuri is. And what a mission. I don't know why. We haven't paid into the Hackett. I didn't pay like Coop or those horses into the Hackett, but for some reason we paid What a Mission in. I'm going to say unlikely that we're going to go to the Hackett, but we'll see. If I train him in 2-2 and he's like wired tight on Thursday, then yeah, we can start talking about that. I can't really say anything about the horse. I haven't sat behind him since last year. Eric said he felt very strong the other day in his training mile, so fine. Let's see how he trains this Thursday. I'm going to defer till after Thursday. So those are all the things I want to talk about. We talked about moving a couple of 2-year-olds over here, Mounds for All and Widespread Panic are going to come to Ontario this week. The open house is going to be on May the 13th in Northfield Park, May the 14th at Mohawk. That's the plan for there. We talked about all the aged horses. We talked about their staking engagements for this year. The 3-year-olds, where they're staked, you guys know when they're pretty well ready to go. I'm going to train, by the looks of the forecast, I might train Crantini on Monday, not Tuesday. Looks like there's rain coming. It just changes every hour, it seems like right now, at least in Ontario. And then the coolest thing, I guess, from yesterday, aside from the racing and getting all this compiled, was we were able to gaffle onto a breeding of Green Shoe. So we are going to likely breed Path of Totality to Green Shoe at a discounted price this year. So that is really, really cool. So that's where we're at right now. You guys are completely updated. It looks like another great week ahead, and it certainly was a great week last week. We went undefeated, 3 for 3 on Wednesday. We had a winner on Friday. We had a winner on Saturday. The biggest kind of winner, which was Locatelli in the New Holland final, the final of the series, the New Holland series. I thought Haunted House raced great. Gandalf raced pretty good also. And yes, progression from JK Victory. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I do want to talk about the babies a little bit. I do have them to talk about. And then I don't think there's any need to do the barns this week. Is there? Every single horse we need to talk about is either in this opening, in the staking engagements, or under the 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, or racehorses. It just feels this week, as it is sometimes, but this week in particular, a little redundant. I'd rather talk about 10 babies, and I'm going to do that in just a second.